Okay, Ben asks a question that I like. Recently, Netflix released a documentary about a TV show, The Biggest Loser. The documentary highlighted a few contestants' experiences during the show, as well as the long-lasting physical and emotional damage they still carry in the years following their time on the show. My question for you is fairly broad. What is your opinion of The Biggest Loser? It broke my heart calling a show The Biggest Loser. You know, it bugs me. In this day and age, there's all these words I'm not allowed to use, okay? But we can have a show called The Biggest Loser. You know, there's this podcast I basically can't even listen to anymore because one of the voices in the podcast has these extraordinarily high standards for everybody, okay? You know, you can't watch the Lawrence of Arabia anymore because, you know, they have actors using makeup to look a certain thing. And then in an episode, this person outs a famous movie star who's no longer with us. Oh, it's just a rumor. And I'm like, wait, okay, so all of us probably could use some work on how we treat our fellow humans and creatures on this wonderful planet. The name Biggest Loser is just so offensive, and yet it became a joke. And how does it align or contradict with your professional experience? Well, I thought all the coaches were lunatics on the show, but what do I know? Is there a different message you wish the show communicated? Yeah. Okay. See, the thing is, I actually thought about this. The first thing I would do is this. I would lose the first month or so's weigh-ins, because what I would do, I would try to find a place that has no social media, no TV, lots of books, and I would have the people in a place that's very quiet. I'm thinking north coast of California would be a wonderful area, you know, right there on the beach, you know, with all the trees and beach. And I had a couple of ideas. My first is we'd have no food in the house. We'd have plenty of, you know, obviously coffees, teas, waters, sparkling waters, the whole thing. And what I would do is that our meals, probably twice a day, would be, at first, probably maybe a half a mile or an hour, half a mile or a mile walk down a beautiful beach. So to get your brunch, you would have to walk to brunch. Of course, to get back to your clothes and everything else, you'd have to walk back. The workouts for the first couple of weeks would be you walk to your meals and you walk back. And if you felt like a snack, you had to walk back. There's miracles in walking to and from. The next thing I would do is we would emphasize sleep more than you can believe. My first week would probably be this. First off, everybody would have to go to the dentist and we'd have to take care of everything in the mouth. Interesting is that there is some discussion. I was told there was some research, though I haven't seen it. I did talk to my dentist about this, on obesity and oral hygiene and how they're very closely connected. In my own experience, I've seen it, though I don't, you know, sometimes what you see and, you know, what really happens isn't always the same. So the first week we'd go to a dentist. We'd spend a lot of time probably at a doctor's office. I would be more than happy to use any medicines that are going to help. A lot of people with these conditions, just simply being overweight leads to conditions. You know, in my own case, I cured my right ankle arthritis by losing weight. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But I mean, if there's some medicines, if there's metformin or glucophage or even some of these new injectables, yeah, sure. I mean, because, you know, it's doctor's care. Probably also go see an eye doctor because I can't help myself. And then really, I wouldn't mind seeing an ear specialist and just see, because any improvement we see is improvement. So that first week, it would be lots of walking to and from meals, the medical checkups, and then the big one for the first week is dealing with sleep hygiene. Obesity, overweight, tends to lead to sleeping issues. Sleep apnea. Someone told me you can cure sleep apnea easily, lose weight. And I thought, wow, okay, well, that, because I know there's more to it than that, but it, connect the dots sometimes. So we would do a sleep hygiene as best as we can. And the other thing I would start doing on week 1 is the use of a sauna every night at probably about 6 o'clock. Ideally, we'd be in a situation where the sun goes down early. We would sauna every night and then go to bed. And as they cooled off, they would sleep. That first week, the second week, would probably get into some machine training. I would suggest that we would go with certainly leg extensions, because I think that's money. If I could get the hip thrust going, great. Obviously, I'd like to stay with machines as much as we can. With machines, you can get higher reps with machines. The safety issue is there, and I think that'd be important. The first 4 weeks would be a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, a lot of protein. In fact, that might be all we get. Every meal has the before and after walk. Ideally, we would have two meal sessions a day. I would love to see fasting. And then, of course, 3 days a week, we would do progressive resistance exercise with really that focus on progressive. I think we would struggle on the weigh-ins the first week or two, and then something interesting would happen about week 3, where we would get those wonderful things in the Atkins community. It's called the whoosh. I bet we would start seeing the whoosh by about week 3, week 4. I would also like, as best we could, to bring in, certainly I would love to have a guy like BJ Fogg work with Tiny Habits. Yay. I love Tiny Habits. But also, if we could, at some level, either group therapy or individual therapy in positive ways, and not because, oh, woe is me stuff, but, kind of talking about, how do we get ourselves in there, into a situation of obesity. I would stay as positive as I could. We would drink a lot of sparkling water, a lot of tea, and a lot of coffee. We would do a lot of walks on the beach and read a lot of books and just do our best to be positive and make the world a better place. Fun question. I'd love to do it. Hey, Hollywood, hire me. Thanks so much. And just one final note. Once we got them to about week 6 or so, I would probably introduce a kind of more of a lifetime program. In Armor Building Formula 2, I have a whole section on armor building for fat loss. And what I'd like to do with that is teach people the importance of, you don't need a lot of equipment, 2 kettlebells and a walk. So you do the armor building complex while you're still breathing, you go for a walk. Ideally, we would introduce that kind of thing into the program. Well, I just don't know how long I'm going to have them, though. But thank you. A fun question. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.